4 days. I was 4 days away from Christmas, and I've fallen ill. God. Hello and welcome to FCTR, I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about TNA wrestling and the big business they mean in 2024. But before we dive into that, please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below as you watch a man in a baseball cap and a big pink fluffy hoodie talk about wrestling. So apologies if my voice is croaky, it's a going, so I'm going to record as much as I can tonight before the voice departs this realm to another ethereal plane. So, let's talk about TNA. TNA, just sort of over this past few months, has been a very, very weird beast. So obviously you've got, almost like the way I see it, it's almost like the DCEU. Now bear with me a second. TNA have had this big rebranding. They're rebranding as TNA in January. So we've got to get through a little bit of Impact before that happens. And from what I've heard, I've not watched the full episodes. I've seen highlights of Impact. It's been okay, to say the least. Maybe they haven't capitalised on the momentum of the announcement of TNA like they should have. But what they are doing in terms of building that promotion is flawless, because they are signing a lot of names and bringing a lot of names over to TNA. Now, people who haven't signed but are going to be appearing are either Hard to Kill or Snake Eyes in January. Okada, Vikingo, Will Ospreay. That's 3 to name a few. And then we get into the signings. So a lot of signings have happened. Signings and re-signings. You have the likes of Dani Luna, Trent Seven, Kushida, and re-signing you have Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers. So you've got a lot there. You've got a lot of talent there in that pool. You're bringing these people over, and I'm going to talk about a few of them. I think Kushida is a big one to talk about. Moving from New Japan across to Impact is very, very interesting. He's got an X Division title match at, I believe, Hard to Kill. Might be at Snake Eyes. It's one of the two, which is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be awesome. I think he's a great get for TNA. Same with Trent Seven, one of the best British wrestlers on the planet. You've got Dani Luna, who is a great British wrestler as well, just won the title at Rev Pro Uprising. There's a lot of names being brought over to TNA, and I think it's only positive. It's only positive news that TNA seemingly has a lot of money behind them, or at least they're spending a lot of money to get people and bring them in to TNA to make it look like another viable alternative like it was back in the 2010s-ish. Yeah, I think that's sort of the right time period. So there's a lot of speculation as well going on. You've got all these signings going on. But Scott D'Amore has teased that he's potentially bringing in the biggest signing to TNA. And this is a very, very interesting question to ask, because who's going to be the guy or the lady to really push Impact / TNA into the stratosphere? While I adore everyone that they have brought in, that one, I think that's what Impact is missing. They're missing that one needle mover, that one person who can be like, they are top level. Because while I think like Josh Alexander, Alex Shelley, Moose are all fantastic, maybe it's just the position Impact has been put in. They haven't been put in that position to be elevated like seemingly they are now with TNA. Which is why I think Hard to Kill is a very important pay-per-view. Maybe the most important pay-per-view of 2024. Because this is the opportunity of Scott D'Amore and TNA to either rebrand, rebuild, and expand TNA, or it fails. And I think it's going to succeed. I think this is where you get people back in. You get people back in with the first TNA show and you stack it like they have, and that is where you build a new TNA. So not necessarily from the ground up, but certainly from like the first, second floor, Because while I love Impact, I do think the production let down Impact Wrestling. That was my one qualm sort of with Impact that made it hard to watch, was it didn't look, while it was in a small venue, I think NXT looked amazing, like black and gold NXT. I really, really love the look of that. Something about the aesthetic of Impact just doesn't gel with me. But the Impact Zone really does. I'm not saying you need 6-sided ring, but the production of Impact back in the day was incredible. And that is what I really, really hope. I really, really hope that the production of TNA is just sort of superior to Impact. As for who the big signing is, there's a lot of names, because it's been teased almost as like a Will Ospreay level signing, which only points you in certain directions. Obviously, Kazuchika Okada's contract is coming up soon. Mercedes Mone, we don't know what's happening with Mercedes Mone. I don't want to will that into existence. There's a Shane McMahon out there. Can you imagine if it is Shane McMahon? That'd be so funny. No, it wouldn't. It'd be awful. But yeah, I think they're the two big names, is Okada and Mone. I can't think off the top of my head, while there are the WWE releases like your Dolph Ziggler's, like Mustafa Ali, I don't see them as being this needle mover that Scott D'Amore has promised, which could either come back to bite him in the bottom, or it could genuinely shake the industry. But who's it going to be? If I was to put money on it, see, there's a lot of things to talk about. The only thing I could think potentially is maybe they've kept it very under wraps that they have Mercedes Mone. I think Mercedes Mone fits the bill the best, and I think she would want to go somewhere that is so committed to women's wrestling, like so committed to the knockout division, and really build that from what it is now, which is awesome, but really shine the spotlight on it. It seems like she's very, very passionate about. While I love the WWE women's division, and AEW's women's division is not very good, I think Impact could really move needles by being a hub for women's wrestling, almost like it already is. But I think Mercedes could really get it the mainstream eyeballs on Impact. TNA, sorry, that's going to take a while. So yeah, I think if I'm gonna place my bets, I think it's going to be Mercedes Mone. I think, but I could be wrong. And yeah, that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about why TNA is so important. Something else I've not touched on is the UK we're living. Obviously, you're getting a lot of cool British talent signed to TNA. It is going to be a hub for British wrestling. Dani Luna, Trent Seven, Leon Slater, to name 3. You might get more. Who knows? British wrestling, Impact Wrestling has always had a home over here, and TNA is back. It's back. I probably will watch Hard to Kill. I think Hard to Kill has fully got my attention now, and I will be watching that. But I want to know what you guys think. Who is the big signing for TNA? Who do you think it's going to be? Are you impressed with these new signings? Let me know everything you want down in the comments below, and I'll try to reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.